All right, now I think we're good to go. All right, so I'm going to do a recap of what I was just showing you guys in the previous video when I was on mute. SPY, right? So what I was trying to tell you guys was there's a lot of bears and everybody ticked off and people ticked off and saying this market's going up, everything's terrible, blah, 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 blah. Why is that happening? Everybody's bitching and moaning and yada, yada. And I was saying, we've been making videos now for months with you guys telling you this stuff. I said, we were talking back in December when the market was at all-time highs. Trump was asking for QE. He posted a tweet back around before Christmas time of asking, basically saying we should have quantitative easing, negative interest rates. That was when the market was all-time highs. I think he did it again going into this year when the market was skyrocketing. Right? And I was posting about it. I was sending you guys go through our Facebook feed. I even made some videos about it for you guys. Then the market tanks, right? Then he's asking for quantitative easing again. So he's asking for it when it was at all-time highs and when it's tanking. Trump is not stupid. He knows quantitative easing is terrible for the stock market. So why was he asking for it? Why was he asking for it in December when we surely didn't know about Corona. I'm not sure if he did or other people knew, but he was asking for quantitative easing back then. Was he trying to prepare people for it? Was he trying to prepare us for it? I don't know. It's just kind of weird how he's asking for quantitative easing when everything was great. So back, and I posted this article a few weeks ago. So during the middle of Corona and everything's tanking, what comes out? This article from Yahoo Finance when everything was going on behind the scenes. And it says, here's a little quote from the article. This scheme essentially merges the Fed and Treasury into one organization. So meet your new Fed chairman, Donald Trump. What does that mean? Well, I mean, if he's controlling the Fed now or with the Treasury, and he might be controlling quantitative easing. So if Trump is controlling quantitative easing, again, it doesn't matter if you like him or hate him. You have to understand what's going on. If you're trying to short something and he's using quantitative easing to push it back up, you're just going to shoot yourself in a hole, right? So I don't know how long he'll keep doing it for or what's going to happen, but think just logically, he's running for re-election. If he's controlling QE, would it make sense that Trump wants to go into an election with stock market at all-time highs or at lows? I mean, common sense would say he would try to probably prop it up. So just using common sense, using the tools of quantitative easing, it would make sense to me in what it's looking like that he's trying to prop it up. I don't know how much longer it's going to go, but I mean, if you look at the charts, I mean, we are right now in a daily uptrend. Could this fail? Sure. But you got to remember, guys, the technicals, you can say rising wedge, it's going to fall, bear flag, it's going to fall. It may. It really may. But also, again, if Trump is controlling quantitative easing and props it up, then you just can't just go off hunches and guesses. You have to follow what's happening. So he may ride this back up under the election. It may fall and double bottom, and then he props it up again. There's still several months until November. We don't know what will happen, but all I know is this. If you're wondering why the market is going up, I gotta adjust my hat here. This hat is fire, huh? This bullish bears. There we go. I like my flat brims kind of a little bit looser. Got my white on white look. We have the merchandise coming, guys. I actually decided on a new vendor or a potentially new vendor. I have some new prints coming. So if you're wondering about this awesome hoodie and you want it, we'll be getting some. It says pumping ain't easy. The irony is we're not stock pumpers. So I'm just kind of owning the funniness of it. We have some funny other graphics coming too that you guys will probably like. It'll probably trigger some people, but we have some good trading things coming that are pretty funny. So anyways, if Trump, like I was just saying before, if Trump brings the market back to all-time highs again before the election and you get your money back in your 401k, again, we're not financial advisors, but what I would suggest is be careful, right? If you get your money back by the election and price starts hovering around up here and it doesn't break, you might want to just go and save funds. You might want to go save funds or cash. Remember the magical word cash? Now is a good time to ask your advisor because you have time, right? You have time. We can see with the market what it's going to do. Talk to your financial advisor ahead of time and say, hey, if the markets go back to all-time highs again before the election or by that time, Would you be okay if for a period of time I go and cash in my 401k just to be safe, to prevent any unnecessary drops like we had with Corona here again? If your financial advisor says no or gives you a hard time, find a new advisor that will. Remember, if you were in cash up here and the market tanked down here, you wouldn't have lost 30% of your retirement. You would have had all your funds, and then you could say, oh, let me buy the dip now, and you could have been riding this back up, right? Instead of chasing all your money back up here again until you can start making a profit, right? But the fact of the matter is, most financial advisors won't like you going cash because it's not what's best for them. At times, it may be best for you. When it was at a top like this, if you get your money back again, consider going in safe, maybe cash for a period of time. Maybe you give up some profits, sure, or wait until you see price break above all-time hold highs and give a solid hold. Very important. And also make sure, again, like I've been saying in videos, make sure your financial advisor knows how to read a stock chart. If they don't know how to read stock charts, fire your financial advisor and find a new one immediately, because if your advisor can't read a stock chart, what are they doing managing your money, right? So number one, ask your advisor if they can read a chart. Number two, ask if you could ever go cash at tops of markets. If they give you a hard time with either of those answers, find a financial advisor that is willing to put you in cash or in safe funds for a period of time and can read a stock chart. If you're a financial advisor listening to this and think I'm an idiot, whatever, it doesn't matter. What I'm saying makes common sense. If someone was cash up here, they wouldn't have lost their 30%. If I had $100,000 up here in cash and it dropped down to here, I still have $100,000. Now I can take my $100,000 and start building it back up again. I'm not waiting for the market to go back up here again to recover and get my 30% back that I lost, right? I can start making money down here on the way up with my full money, not waiting to get all my full money back up here again. Why? Because you didn't put me into safer funds at tops of markets. Why? Because you want me invested and not wanting to go somewhere else because you make more money off of commissions, off of having people invested. Again, that's the game. It is what it is. Don't worry, it'll go back up, right? I have a shirt coming for you guys that'll make you laugh. So, all right, let's do some bragging. So there's things called humble bragging and then also bragging. Today I'm going to brag. Guys, if you've been following, if you're members of ours, by the way, we do our alerts each night over here. We do real-time alerts and then we do our alert setups. So by the way, you could read this article with Fed or Trump and the Fed. Where the heck was it? Just check on our Twitter right over here. Type in Bullish Bears, you'll see the article. You can read about it and Trump being in control of the Fed, right? So each night, guys, if you're new to following us or new members, we post a day trade and a swing trade watch list here each night. We also have two types of alerts. We have our alert setups, which are what I show you on our watch list, which is what I'm going to do in this video and what we do daily for you guys. And then we do real-time alerts. Those are more of our longer term or swing trade alerts that are real-time trade alerts. The ones I'm showing you are the ones that are you're inputting them into the system and then you're deciding to make the trade based on, what your own entries and exits, right? But we post our alert setups here every night. So if you just log in, you'll see the alert setups right over here. I posted a sneak preview earlier on Twitter. So make sure you follow us on Twitter because we also post stuff throughout the day on Twitter. And if you guys see today, our alerts, we were fire. I'm going to say what the cool kids say. Our alerts were fire today. You'll see Cal. And what was the alert for Cal? Cal was at or above 632. What did Cal go up to today? It got up to a high of 850. It had over a $2 and something cent move, right? And this was look at that beautiful ride the 9. Cal was gorgeous. Look at that. Ride the 9. You could have rode the 9 EMA all morning. Look at that. Beautiful. This is gorgeous. Just a beautiful ride. This textbook. Perfect right there. You had a perfect 5-minute bull flag. Gorgeous right here. Boom. If you didn't get in down here and you waited, there was your nice 5-minute bull flag. Could have gotten in about, 740-ish and gotten out. Anywhere out here, but as it starts to close, below the 9, 740 to 807. That's a 67 cent move? Just riding the 9. And then you could have came back and readdressed it in the afternoon. But gorgeous 5-minute bull flag. Beautiful. CPE, that was a penny stock. We had that one as, what was that? CPE. At or above 60 cents. And kind of had a nice inverse head and shoulders. And then it broke pre-market high. You know, where was this? Around 1 o'clock. So if you missed the anticipation of the break of pre-market high, you could have waited for it to break out, come back and retest, and come right there around 210 or so. Right there you go. It had kind of like a 5-minute bull flag. You could have got an entry in one of this, 60, 70 cents, and then rode it up from, 70 cents. And then if you decided to take profit before close up here, 70 cents up to 80 cents. That's a 10-cent move on a sub $1 penny stock. That's a great move. You'll take that all day long. You don't get this very often, guys. I mean, penny stocks look a lot like this mostly. But then when they start to rip like this, you can have that nice little run. It's not a lot that you get these nice, beautiful candlesticks like this. And you'll find a lot of time on our watch list. That's why we say our watch list, today was an exceptional day for our watch list. Typically, our watch list has one really good one, a good one, and then right? They're kind of and then 2 or 3 days later, 1 or 2 of them will fire off again. That's why you got to watch our watch list. Many times they won't break out the next day. They have pullback days, then they break out and get volume and continue up, right? So that's where you take our watch list and just pay attention to them. Watch which ones are running, which one get volume. Today we had several awesome ones. And then, keep these on watch, address them like tomorrow, pull these up, see if any are still continuing, look at the previous days. Guys, again, I mean, just look at I was bragging again today, guys. Not humble bragging. I was just bragging because we called out, where was it? I posted it earlier today. Where was it? Right here. See, I did my little Leo meme, right? AEO in Bed Bath & Beyond. That worked out well. Well, right here. I posted that on April 27th with the charts and, showing the charts of both AEO, Bed Bath & Beyond. What did those do? They ripped for a couple days. Couple nice moves. CPG was on our watch list. This one today was at or above $1.11. Kind of went up, kind of formed a double top. This is where, again, guys, they might not rip it open. This one actually did have a decent one right off a 5-minute flag right here, $1.19, and then it kind of went up and failed and did a double top. All that for a 4-cent move. But remember, guys, it's $1 something stock, not that great. But then what did it do? Consolidate, and then you had your high a day, and so you would have readdressed it towards the end of the day, right? And then right around here, what was this? 15 o'clock. I'm so bad at military time. What is that? 3 o'clock? $1.24 into close. Not a bad ride up, right? Again, you're not trying to hit home runs, but this had a nice move up. It gapped up. You could have maybe traded a couple times. It's kind of a dud. This is a 5-minute chart, by the way. You would obviously probably trade it on a 1-minute, but it had an 18% gain on the day. Arco, that was another one a little bit choppier at first. And then, if you had a decent entry, if the volume came in right over in here, 386, went up to $4, $4. You could have scalped, maybe 10 cents out of that. Arco was at or above 371. What did it do at 370 right over here? Gapped up, pulled back. If you missed this entry, maybe you would have looked at it and readdressed it over in here. CNXM, that was another one. That was at or above 792. What did that do? Kind of tricked out a little bit. I called a red to green move on it. I said, watch on Twitter today. I said, this is where you follow our Twitter, guys. CNXM. Watch if red to green holds. If so, could get interesting. And I don't know if it happened. I'm not sure if it happened after the red to green But you see there was kind of a cup pattern here. If you miss this, it actually didn't hold. You see it kind of just traded choppy and went sideways. But, you know, I mean, many a time, you know, if this went against you or if you were in it or trading sideways at $8, it kind of just traded sideways. It was It was an play. Like, I wouldn't have probably traded this. Your good shot was right over here. So you had three good ones right there. CPG, CPE, Cal. And then GLD wasn't doing nothing. GLD, we had right over here at or above 160.84. And then what did that do? At the end of the day, it went red to green and ripped. Right there. And on Twitter, I was said something about it. I said, maybe setting up for a flag on the daily. So now we go to GLD on the daily. Now the daily has closed. And guys, am I good or am I good? Am I right or am I right? What do you guys see here? I said looking for a possible flag on the daily. We'll have to see what happens here, but this is pretty freaking beautiful of a possible flag. So we had it right above here off that small little doji hammer. But if you missed that on our alerts, possible flag. If it breaks out, you have some resistance right around that 164. Draw your support kind of right over in here. This may be moving up. We'll have to see. Hopefully you guys are following along. So guys, our watch lists and our alerts, they are really good. Again, you don't trade the ones that I'm doing right now and on this watch list. You don't take an entry just because an alert fires off. You have to know support and resistance on these. These are ones that you need to know how to trade yourself. But guys, we put all the notes right here. If you're brand new and you're like, I don't know how to trade them, I don't know what to do, then here's what you do. If you're brand new, you have no business trading with real money. That's just a perfect way to gamble. That's why people call traders gamblers. It's because new traders come in and they never practice and they blow up their account and they blame the stock market for taking their money. It's not the stock market that took their money. It's just they're bad traders. They didn't take the time to learn. Trading is not gambling. It only becomes gambling when you don't know what the hell you're doing and you don't practice doing it. So here's what you do if you're brand new. Open a paper trading account. Take our alerts that you see here with all the notes on them and practice trading them. If you're a day trader, practice day trading them. If you're a swing trader, practice swing trading them, right? If you're into options, then maybe you practice trading our swing trade watch list and either day trade or swing trade options in a virtual account. If you want to see how it's done more live, we have a trade room every day. Join our trade room and watch how we do it. If you are short on funds or a budget, try us out. Subscribe right here. We have 14-day trial. If you want to see if we're good, we're worth it, blah, 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 blah. If we're gurus or gurus or whatever the hell you want to think we are or not, try us out for 14 days. If you don't like us, cancel it. If you like us, stick around. It's that simple. All right, so let's build our watch list for tomorrow. Do a reset. And what do I want to start with first? Let's do the pennies small cap stocks first. Right here. So if you guys will see, this is what I'm looking for ideally. I'm trying to find, this is a perfect setup with GLD. Ideally, it was the one yesterday right here. This setup or this one. This is ideally what I'm trying to get on watch list. I'm looking for either flags or kind of cup and handles off the moving average lines that give you a shot to continue upwards, right? Ideally like smaller candlesticks like these ones right here. This one I'd still actually potentially put on, but I already put it on yesterday. That's what I'm looking for. So that's what I'm looking for when I'm doing the small caps and the large cap stocks for you guys. So I avoid stuff like, I try to avoid the wicks and the shat. Penny stocks, like they have a mind on their own, right? So you can see something like this. Normally I wouldn't put it on and it could launch. I try to avoid all of this stuff, right? I want the smaller little stuff that's about to break out. Like this is what I did. Like when I called out AEO for you guys the other day. And AEO, where did I call that one? I think it was right over in here. I think it was one of those two candles. You can see it was a double bottom. I was like, watch for a double bottom and move up. $7. It's went up over $1.40 right there. That's what I'm looking for, like those reversals back up. BBBY was, I think that one was right over, right here. I called out the inverse head and shoulders, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And I think I called it was somewhere right in here because I was saying watch for a possible breakout and see if it can break the neckline, hit the moving average lines. See how stuff is creeping up above those moving average lines, those small candles? That's what I like with the patterns, so you can get the move and have room to run. Now I wouldn't buy it. So AEO and Bed Bath & Beyond, they're overextended, right? They've hit resistance. So these small cap ones, I try to put the ones, or these ones that are under $1, I try to, some of these ones that I might not like the pattern, this is where I might, you can see the 9 and 20 crossing over. It's above the 50. This one may be getting a pump. Let me look at the hourly. It's kind of closer on the hourly. I would consider that one. Again, not my style. I'm not a huge fan of the sub $1 stocks. But for those that like those sub $1 penny stocks, you know, if you do your research, this thing may be getting a pump. You know, we'll have to watch and see. So I might put on Boxel right now ahead of time. I'll take a look and see what other ones. But so again, stuff like this I don't like. High wave candle at resistance. Not going to put that on. Or stuff that's gone several green days like this, overextended, not going to put it on. Right here, kind of the wicks and the shadows, overextended, not going to put it on. It could be a double bottom and continue up, but it's kind of had that move. I'm looking for stuff as it's kind of down here in anticipation of that move for you guys. AMRN's interesting. This one's in the gap already. I think this was on our watch list recently, I think. I'm still not a real fan of the spinning top candles, but you can see once price starts getting in a gap like this, it gets very volatile. So you can see right here, price is hitting the 20 EMA, caught between moving average lines. That's why I'm not putting it on. So you say, Facebook user says, hey man, wanted to say thanks for the great content you guys put out. My question is, do you use TOS scanners at all, or do you only use third-party stuff? I'm new to trading. Well, awesome. Thanks for following us. And this scanner that I'm using right now is a Thinkorswim scanner. So the one I'm doing now is Thinkorswim. So you can use this. So we're a huge fan of trade ideas, but honestly, like if you're going to scalp penny stocks and you're super laser targeted and you want the best plays as they happen, trade ideas is the best. If you're just looking for like casual scalping and day trading, like again, scalping stock, our watch list number 1 is awesome for that. But number 2, if you want something that's running, just do a high day scanner with Thinkorswim and just kind of do a what is our let's show you here. So you can do stocks, but you just put last right here, whatever price range you want. Search for a minimum amount of volume. So maybe you're looking for 300,000 to 500,000 at least at open to see as it's building. And then stocks that have a minimum of whatever you're looking for, maybe 3%. And then save it. You can do shares, which is basically shares outstanding. It's basically like a float. and then save the scan and just have it right over here in your toolbar. And then as the market opens, see what stocks are moving at open and then chart them. So you can use, the only thing with Thinkorswim, pre-market, I don't have a scanner that does pre-market with them. I'm not sure if you can do it. I just haven't done that. This is just great for when the market opens. But we do post trade ideas gappers every day over here. So we do our watch list, day trade and swing trade here. Each morning we post trade ideas gappers over here. So you can see what's running for gappers in the morning. So basically, I'm making the watch list right now. You save our watch list. Tomorrow morning, Dan will update the gap scan over here. You filter the stocks that are potentially running. You know, you might look up 5 or 10 over here, filter it down to 2 or 3, and then pull up our watch list tomorrow. And I would probably say one, maybe 2 are looking decent pre-market from ours, because there's not a lot of volume on our watch list, right? So they're kind of sleepers. A lot of times you got to wait for the market to open, let the kind of patterns build. So that's why you put ours on watch, look at trade ideas gappers, and just kind of watch them and see. You might be trading trade ideas ones at first, and while everybody's fighting, the bulls and the bears are fighting with trade ideas, our watch lists are typically building patterns and they're slowly grinding. You might get one that pops off in the morning and then another one that pops off in the afternoon. You know, great scalps. And in the meantime, you could just have a regular scanner like Thinkorswim's high day scanner that I just showed you running in the meantime. So it's a free scanner. What up, Big Beat? Big Beat in the house. I don't know why this stream, I wish they had, I wish they put people's names on this restream service. I like this restream service. Big Beat. You should be doing our watch list, Big Beat. Okay, so here's what I'm looking for right here. This is what I'm looking for you guys right here. Okay, you can kind of see somewhat of a pattern. Kinda. A head, left shoulder, right shoulder. It's not a perfect placement, but it's kind of inverse head and shoulders-ish. Kind of a cup and handle, but then you see a possible flag off the 9 EMA. This is what I like to see. So I see a possible bull flag within a cup and handle getting ready to potentially launch, and it has some room up to that 200 SMA. Then I go to the hourly and I look at the hourly. It's a little bit more overextended on the hourly than I want. I wish I would have caught it right here, but it may be setting up if maybe it'll pull back a little bit and then launch and move out. You can see possible cup and handle. Again, these patterns on small cap stocks are not going to be as, if that was Facebook or Apple or Netflix, it's going to look better, right? So this one I'm definitely going to put on, because if this can launch, this has some room, you know? You can see some support potentially holding. That's what I'm looking for. Again, it may fail, but this is what I'm trying to look for. I'm looking for it here, not out here for you guys, because ideally I want to catch it as it goes to break out for you guys. So ADMA, that'll be one I'm going to put on. Oops, not SM. ADMA. Okay, so this one, AKG. So this is where I consider it, but you see how the candles are getting much bigger? So you actually see basically a flag forming, but it's also a bit overextended, right? I like to catch it when it's down right in these areas, not when everybody's staring at it. So this could continue up, but I try to avoid where it's overextended. So again, if I was looking at Acre, I wouldn't put it on now. I would like to have caught it maybe right in this area. See, as it's starting to creep up, right up over here. So then I can say, it's possible inverse head and shoulders-ish. You know, just ignore this wick. You could say that's a left shoulder head, right shoulder, maybe creeping with a move up. But I'm not going to put that one on. But something like this, ASX, I wouldn't catch it now, but I would have put it on right over in here. You can see it's holding in anticipation of a breakout. That's what I want to catch for you guys. Or I would have considered it right here on this candle, but not out here. I want to see these right over here that's just, again, the watch list I'm building for you guys. I'm trying to get as clean as I can for you guys of a setup. But many of times our watch list, like I said, if it doesn't pop off tomorrow, so like let's say for instance with ADMA, right? Let's say tomorrow it doesn't pop off and doesn't break out. It may pull back and then have a couple pullback days and come down right over in here, right? It may form a couple like spinning tops or doji. So you like tomorrow, let's say it doesn't go off, it doesn't break out, pulls back, but it's still holding here. You're completely ignoring it, right? And then maybe it's Friday or Monday, the thing goes and it breaks and it launches then, right? That's why you still keep looking at these. You know, again, we're looking for stocks that are going to break out, but many times they'll kind of pull back and they'll have a couple pullback days and then they go. But again, don't trade them just to trade them. Practice paper trading them until you know how to trade. Right here, perfect example. If I would have put ACCO on, I'm not going to put it on out here. I would have put it on somewhere down right in here. As price is starting to break out here, that's when I want to get it. You can see kind of a flag within a possible cup pattern for it, right? So kind of a flag, possible cup. That's where I want to kind of catch it for you guys. You're buying chunks of ING European banks are next to pop. Let's see. Possible. I mean, possibly. You can see kind of a double bottom. There's almost a triple bottom. I'm not a huge fan of these gap ones like this, but it's a little bit overextended now. But if it can hold right over in here, this 604, if this can break 604, again, it may be forming a cup. It may pull back before it goes up. You can see what I like about these is I like the patterns, right? Double bottom. Again, I'm not a fan of small candles and gaps, but if you had a right entry like down in this area or even at support, you can see these bigger overall patterns. So if it can break $6, it has some room up to that 50. DAL and BA. Yes. Let me see them real quick. Yeah, I'll actually do them right now for you. So here's a perfect example. DAL, it is holding its highs. It could have room to run. It could continue up. I don't typically put these on the watch list because they've already kind of moved up. I want to see them pull back more. Could it continue up? Sure. Well, watch right now. Right here, watch for the gap fill. So see if the gap fills at 28.32. So that's what you want to see if it can continue. If it can, then it might have some room up. Take a look at the hourly. Yeah, the hourly is a bit overextended. It could still run. Look for some support right around that $27. It could still run up. I just don't put it on because it's a little bit overextended. And BA, good old Boeing. All right, so this is one where I don't like the candle, but it's hard to ignore it where you have kind of a spinning top right in, or a doji. See how it's like tricking people right here? You have that possible, and it's catching you right here, right? So let's look at the hourly. Oof. Boeing might be set right. Look at that. Man, right on that, right after hours, huh? They might be holding. This one may be intriguing. That hourly, right as they kind of caught it right here. That one I might actually put on with Boeing. I don't like the daily, but just seeing that possible hold again, guys. If they prop the market up another day or two, Boeing might rip. It may, because you got to see that's a possible flag there, but you can see possible cup and handle. It is hitting angular resistance, but You want to see it if it can hold that 9 EMA. You want to catch it more down here, not when it's way out here. So I actually might put bowling on the watch list. That's intriguing. I don't like the daily candle, but that hourly right here after hours, that's what intrigued me. If that green candle wasn't there, I probably wouldn't look at it. I'd be like, oh, this is going to fall. But maybe. Boeing might be interesting. I mean, I don't personally really look at RSI that much. I just look at candlesticks. When price is far away from the moving average lines, I assume it's either overbought or oversold. You know, like way out here. I don't need a RSI to tell me that's overbought. That's way far away from moving average lines. I probably wouldn't need RSI to tell me that it's oversold over here because it's far away from the moving average lines, right? Again, I just don't. It's just more of a distraction to me. Some people like RSI. Other people don't. Okay, so now this is interesting. On an hourly, I like how this may be flagging, holding, getting ready to go with a cup and handle. I don't like resistance right there at the 200, but let's take a look at the daily chart. As far as hourly goes, that may be setting up. Yeah, and so like on the daily, I'm just not I don't like when price is caught like that. So that's where on an hourly chart, it's not so, yeah. So you guys can see, right, the resistance right at that 20. I'm not going to put that one on. You're welcome. No. Nope. Okay, this may be interesting. I prefer a green hammer here, but this is what I start to zone in for, guys. I can clearly see a cup pattern forming. I could also see clearly basically a flag, right? You have resistance going back here. I can see basically a flag, so I can see basically potentially a bull flag. I prefer a green hammer and a little bit closer here. Again, it can pull back a little bit more, but I can see a cup and handle. It's bouncing off that 9 EMA, and it's got some room up to the 200 on the daily. Now, if I go to the hourly, I'd prefer it up over here, but this may be creeping red to green. If it can break above that 50, this may be kind of a falling wedge. I would have liked to catch it a little bit earlier, but this may have some room. If it can break 470, it might have some room. Again, I like the patterns, you know, so I don't love this one right now the way it's setting up, but I'm intrigued that it may, like you see that little hammer off the 9 EMA. We'll see if it can break out. So you can see the flags and the cup and handles. That's the stuff I'm trying to find for you guys. Again, it may not break out. It could pull back. It could dump, right? So this is one I don't necessarily love, but I like the look of it. Would I have liked to seen something more like a green kind of hammer? Yes, but remember, these are small cap stocks. You don't always get them. So I'm not a huge fan of this for people that like penny stocks. I don't like, well, again, me personally, I don't like sub $1 penny stocks. But for those that do, that like to catch in, there are a lot of people that like to catch penny stocks that follow the people that will, they will get in before the pump. Right? I like to catch it, you know, I'm doing the technicals. Like I like to see it like when it's above here to like catch up here. But there are a lot of people that like to catch it, and you can see a possible hammer right there on the daily. That's for A core. I don't like it right here, but it may be I'm not going to put it on the watch list, but you know, if it's holding that $1, that one may be interesting that someone may be looking to pump it. We'll have to wait and see. Again, so if you do fundamental analysis or something on penny stocks and stuff, that might be something to take a look at because it's been, you know, it's gotten buried. It may be forming a bottom. You can see a possible inverse head and shoulders-ish. You can see there's really not really showing there. It may, again, I'm not going to put it on the watch list, but for those that like the sub $1 stocks, it might be interesting. All right, so here's a perfect example. I'm not going to put BlackBerry on, but what I like, again, BlackBerry was a big name. It's gotten hammered. If I was to put this on right here, as prices right here, the little hammer right here, I would have put it on here, not out here. This one's interesting. BR. I don't like how it's right near that 50, but there is a crossover on the 9. There is a 920 crossover. Might have a channel moving up. That's interesting. It's such a weird. I don't know if I'm going to put that one on. I might come back to it. AEO is still holding. There's that double bottom. It is holding that 20 EMA. I'm not going to put it on again, but it is holding the 20. If it holds that 20, it actually might still going up. It is a star pattern or a doji. Got to watch it, but if it holds that 20, it might have some room to move up there still. So BCLI I would have put on probably off that hammer, not on this candle. So you can see kind of a flag right here. Right here, so you guys see a flag within a cup and handle. I would have put it on probably a break above that hammer, not out here now. That's the stuff I'm looking for. BDJ, if I had put that on, kind of same thing. As price started to kind of come right over in here, I would have put it on a potential break above here to continue up. You can see a lot with our watches, so you have time to be in them many a times because they're not being watched as much, you know. So if this kind of broke out, slowly grinded, you might be able to swing trade them a little bit. I'll take a look at Apple. I'm gonna build the swing trade watch list after this one. There's not a lot of small cap ones for tomorrow. I'm not liking the setups very much. Clovis might be interesting. Not what I would typically put on with the daily pattern, but you can see kind of an inverse head and shoulders, possible cup and handle. If this can launch above that 850, that's This one maybe. Clovis is very volatile. You can see possible cup and handle, possible inverse head and shoulders. I wish it was above the 9 EMA more, but this may be setting up a possible reversal. Possible bullish harami right off the daily. This one, I would only consider it being Clovis because of the volatility. If this thing can hold and break out, that one might have a shot. And you can see possible. I don't like how it's angular kind of downwards, but right here, if support holds and continues, it might chop around a little bit and then take off, but it has some room to run. I actually might put Clovis on. Let me take a quick look at the higher nightly scan, one that has a little bit more, because I didn't see. I'd like to find one more good play for you guys. So you'll see the ones I put on. I try to avoid the ones that had huge days, like you can see, you know, like 50%, 27%. Now, again, many of them will have second day runners. I try to get stuff before it's breaking out for you guys, ideally. Now this one could be interesting. Well, it's getting near the base of that gap, right? There's a big gap. That could be interesting. It's a bit overextended on the hour, on the daily. Super overextended on the hourly. So this is the stuff I try to avoid for you guys after it's overextended like this. Now again, you'll see many of these. It might have a big green day, and then it might pull back. You know, it might have a pullback day or so. Maybe it'll pull back and then before it goes and continues up. Okay, here we go. Here we go. ACST. This is something I might like. You guys see how it's holding that 9? Right here. Kind of has a cup, possible cup pattern forming. If this thing can launch 60 cents up to possible 10-cent move, this thing may be getting a pump. That is something I'm interested in. And it's closer to the hourly, which I like. ACST I like. ST I like. For, you know, maybe setting up, guys. If this can pump and if it can clear 70 cents, it might have room up to that gap. We'll have to watch and see. Couple more I'll look at, and then I'm probably just going to build the swing trade watch list. I try to put 5 on. I like that even number of 5. 5 or 4 or 5 I try to find on there. I don't want to put too many on. Because again, out of these 5 guys, I bet money one of them will be really good. A second one will be decent. The other ones will kind of probably range trade, won't do much of anything. And then, you know, watch a few days later, and then another one might take off. Ah, that's what I was looking at earlier. AKG. Hmm. I actually might I actually might reconsider that now. The reason why I might reconsider AKG is because it is a gold stock. That might be interesting. Possible flag. Although, what is... I can go up to 140. Actually, let me take a look at a couple other ones. Let me look at EGO. Here we go. EGO might be setting up. All right, guys. I was telling you, gold. Watch out for gold. EGO might be ready to go. That's what I'm looking at. Or Goro. Let me take a look at Goro. EGO might be looking good. And if that can pop off to 11. Let me look at Goro. Yeah, this one may be look. See that Goro? That's another gold stock. That might be ready to rip up. It's a little bit overextended than I want. But you can see they all run together, guys. SBGL, right? SBGL. Sabania Gold. I had GLD on the watch list last night. I actually might put EGO. I'm going to put that on the day trade watch list because of the volatility of it. Let me get rid of one from the day trade watch list just because. I'll keep ACST. Maybe I'll get rid of Boxel. ADMA, like that one. Maybe. Boxel. I'm going to get rid of Boxel. All right, let me put the alerts on for the day trade watch list. Price is holding MAs on daily. Watch for possible move up with resistance around 72 cents. So if it can hold those moving average lines, look for resistance right around 72. ADMA. This one's a little choppier than I'd like. If it can clear out of this flag, it's got some resistance ahead, but again, it could break out, come back down. That's the thing with these watchlist ones. You might be able to swing. I put it as day trade, but some of these you may be able to swing trade too if you like to swing trade. So this one's not as great as I'd like, but 330s up to the 200 SMA. Possible flag. Possible flag on daily. Watch for potential breakout with resistance around 200 SMA on daily. Possible cup and handle on daily falling wedge on 1 hour watch if price can break out with resistance around $5. Right up around there, $5. So if it could break out of that falling wedge, you know, look around $5 resistance. But that's what you'll see, guys, with our watch list, our day trade watch list. You know, I mean, I guarantee you most people are not going to be looking at this trade ideas. It probably won't be on Trade Idea Star. It may, but chances are it probably won't, right? This may take some volume. Maybe it'll go red to green, kind of shake around, go a trade sideways, build some volume, shake around, and when nobody's paying attention, this thing may break out of a falling wedge if it can break that 50 SMA. If that thing can move up from, you know, 450 up to $5, you might be able to scalp 10, 15, 20 cents or whatever on it when nobody's looking, right? So it's kind of like there's some people that love duking it out with every day trader in the world on trade ideas, right? Some people love the volatility. They're in and out within seconds or the first couple minutes and they're done. Other people like to have a job that don't have the time to go into panic, buy and sell, right? And they'll just say, hey, I'll take the Bullish Bears watch list. I'll guarantee you guys, if you only traded our watch list each day, let me rephrase it. If you only watched our watch list each day, let the patterns shake out. There's probably going to be one good play in the morning, one good play in the afternoon. Let the patterns form. Don't play around with if you don't like all the crazy volatility, just let the patterns form. And I'll guarantee you probably in the morning, out of these 5, you'll probably have 1 or 2 with good volume. The other 2 will probably be crappy with volume. Come back, circle back after lunch, come into 2 o'clock. They're probably most of them going to have decent volume. 3 or 4 of them will. And then you might have now you have the pattern play out. You can see the intraday setup, the high of days. Then you might have a chance to get in at a break of a high a day or another pattern and trade the patterns. And still everybody's going to be looking at trade ideas. Our watch list might only be up, you see right here, right? Actually, that's not our watch list today. Our watch list today had 3 of them over 20%, I think, right? But most of them, they might be up 5 or 6 or 7 or 8%. They're going to be off people's radar because everybody's staring at the 50 and the 100 and the 200% moves. And that's where you'll be able to scalp and get a decent play out of these. Clovis, possible inverse head and shoulders. Let's see if it clear that 850 marker. Possible cup and handle inverse head and shoulders. Sorry, guys, I'm tired today. Possible inverse head. Possible inverse head and shoulders and cup and handle on 1 hour watch if price can break above 850-ish. Right over at that 50 SMA on the hourly. So if it can break that inverse head and shoulders, if it can clear 850, that thing might have some room to run. Ego, gold stock. Look at that, falling wedge. There you go, guys. Look at that 1 hour. That's beautiful. If that can hold right there, boom, that might have a chance to run. Possible. And then look right here. Look back over here. See if support holds. It may come back down and retest it. If it can hold, this thing might have a falling wedge breakout, up to 10, see if it can clear that 1019 area. It might have some trouble with that, but you know, if gold runs, many of these miners run with it. So falling wedge on 1 hour. Watch for possible breakout with resistance around 10.19. All right, so Boeing. Possible cup and handle. It's also at resistance. That possible there. Possible down in here. This is interesting. It's near resistance, but if this can break out, it might... Oh, and they might be creeping it above that 200 SMA after hours. You guys see that? 142 to 146. Possible flag on 1 hour. Watch if price can hold with resistance between 142 to 146. Guys, so I'm wearing this shirt, right? This Pumping Ain't Easy shirt to be funny. And I was just thinking today, it would be so much easier, like, if we don't do this, but I should just buy stocks before I do the watch list, and then I just pump them throughout the day, right? Like I do on Twitter. So I could actually, indirectly, guys, I could take these stocks. I'm indirectly probably pumping the stock up. I'm not intentionally pumping them up and showing you guys stuff. People come in, they get the volume. I should actually just take positions on these and pump these stocks to you guys. It'd be so much easier. Become a stock pumper. Jeez. I see why people are stock pumpers, right? It's simple, right? They just pump up stocks. We don't do that, but I see how people do it. Apple, right? That was on our watch list the other day. Let's see how Apple's doing. Probably another one we probably predicted that was really good. Yep. Guess what? You guys following our stuff? Come on, man. I had Apple on there last week. Still going. I said that's where it is. Okay, yeah. I said watch if it held the gap, right? Okay, so in fairness, I said watch if it held it. And if you guys remember, there was one I said, watch if it holds and fills this gap and then pumps back up, right? I said watch for the hold. And look, you had one candle. What did it do? It filled the gap. Nasty candle. And then what did it do? Right back up. And then boom, continued up. All right, now you have this rising wedge. You know, it's got to be very careful with it now. I mean, it's kind of, but I mean, whether you like it or not, guys, like I said in the beginning of this stream, look at what's going on. Everybody's saying remember, how is the stock market going up when the economy's shut down? That's a very logical question, right? I mean, actually, it's totally common sense, logical question. But what people don't realize is this. Like I've been telling you guys for months and months and months. That's me, Ryan Gosselin, laughing at you guys. Not laughing, but I am kind of laughing. I'm not anymore. I got through my pride. I was laughing at this whole Corona drop because I was telling everybody this is coming again. oops, sorry, nobody saw Corona coming. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Nobody saw Corona coming, right? But yeah, manage, right? There's people that are rich people that sold off stocks. They suddenly knew, right? You and I didn't know Corona was coming, but there was the rich people. They were able to know this is coming. How did they know Corona was coming before all of us knew, right? You don't think, right? You don't think there's you don't think, come on now, guys. This is me. I got to not go on a rant. You don't think there's a lot of rich people that profited on your pain with Corona? You don't think there's a lot of rich people that profited on your tanking of your 401k? You don't think they saw that coming ahead of time? You don't think they know stuff before you do? Bullshit. Of course they do. Right? So, I'm going to be careful here and I'm not going to go on my rants. But what I'm trying to say to you guys is this: quantitative easing. Trump has been talking about quantitative easing, QE. Go to Trump's Twitter feed. I could probably just type it in. QE Trump December. I don't even know I don't know. How do you search someone's old tweets? QE Trump. I don't know how you search someone's old tweets. Back in December, he did. Search Trump's feed. How do you search Trump's feed? Do you guys know how to search? Bottom line, I put it. It was back in December. Mid-December. Between the 15th and the 20-something. Search his timeline. He was asking for quantitative easing before Christmas. Why the hell would you ask for quantitative easing when the stock market's at all-time highs? Before he was even exonerated of impeachment. Impeachment happens and the stock market's at all-time highs. Not only does the stock market not drop when he's not, it's up. And then, magically, he's not impeached. The stock market's soaring. And magically, amazingly, shockingly, coronavirus hits and everything goes timber, right? Super crazy coincidental. Very crazy. But then, in the middle of the process of this going on over here and all the tanking and the world's ending, right? We're all going to die. Suddenly, this article comes out from Yahoo Finance, the one I just showed you guys before, that said, basically, go back to Bullish Bears. Right here, I posted it today. I posted this several times, several months ago or several weeks ago, whenever this came out with Yahoo Finance. Right in the article, the quote, "This scheme essentially merges the Fed and Treasury into one organization, so meet your new Fed chairman, Donald J. Trump." There you go, guys. I don't know what happens behind the scenes, but if Trump is controlling the Fed, he was slamming the Fed for months asking for QE. It's the middle of an election year. If he's going to use QE or quantitative easing to prop the stock market up going into the election, you can be as pissed off about that as we want. For you guys that want your 401k back, you should be super thankful for Donald Trump. For those of you guys that hate Trump using QE, then you should be pissed off at Obama for doing it for 8 years, because Trump is just doing the same thing that Obama did for 8 years, which is used QE or quantitative easing to prop the stock market up for 8+ years with fake money, right? At some point, this system will it keep going forever with quantitative easing? Maybe, maybe not. Will Trump do things to change it? Maybe, maybe not. Will somebody else? Maybe or maybe not. But going into the election, you see it. Why is the stock market going up? Quantitative easing. How does that all work? Beats the hell out of me. But I just know he's telling you he's using it. He's been asking for it for months. If he's in head of the Treasury or the head or controlling the Fed right now, what is he going to do? Doesn't take rocket science to figure the guy wants to get reelected. If you want to get reelected, how do you get reelected? Keep the stock market up. How do you do it? At this point, with the country shut down, buy the shit up. It's as simple as that. He's buying shit up. What are they buying? Who knows? It's buying it up. It's quantitative easing. Buy the shit up. Will it fall? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'm just telling you what the article. I didn't write that Yahoo Finance article. Yahoo Finance did. They're saying Trump is doing it. People are bitching and moaning. That's an inverted cup and handle. That's scary because that actually should fail, and it may. But the fact of the matter is, what if he keeps using QE and props it up? If the market keeps going up, he's basically probably using quantitative easing to do it. If you don't like it, it's been going on now since 2008. If you don't like Trump, then you shouldn't like Obama. If you're talking quantitative easing. That's my rant. Phew. All right. I got to quit while on my head, guys. Like I said. I always got to be careful. Could you guys imagine that? Could you guys imagine just like, think about it for a second. Not getting political, because I'm not going to be political. I'm going to be very nice. Could you imagine going into the election after Corona, if there's a talking point, if Trump has a talking point of the stock market's at all-time highs going into the election after Corona? Love or hate the guy, that would be an incredible talking point. And I'll tell you what, I've said it, guys. You know who will like that talk? There will be people that hate Trump that will love that talking point because they get their money back in their 401ks. There may be a chance. There may, I don't know. If he brings it back up again, there may be a chance to get that back for those that want their money back. There may be a chance. That's why I've been making the videos. If the stock market goes back to all-time highs before the election and you get your money back, you may want to highly consider going in very safe funds or cash for a short period of time until you see after the election that market holds support after it breaks resistance. Then you buy. You buy low, you sell high. You don't put all your eggs in one basket at the top of market highs. Who wants you to do that? The brokerage firms. Why do they want you to do that? They want your money. Call your broker and ask to go cash. I dare you. Call your broker, call your financial advisor, and ask not to go cash if you can go cash. I've said it over and over and over again. Call TD, call Fidelity, call whoever manages your funds and ask them tonight, hey, if the stock market goes back to all-time highs before the election, if I wanted to go cash, can I do that for a period of time? See what they tell you. I would bet money they're not going to like that question. And then you got to ask yourself, why would they not like that question? Because it's not in their best interest. I don't make any money off of you protecting your retirement. There's some of you guys listening right now that are not even members. I'm giving you free tips of things that you may never pay us a dime, and that may save your life. You got screwed with Corona because that just suddenly came out of nowhere. But there may be a chance. There may be a chance to get it back. And who knows? After the second term, who knows? If Trump gets reelected or somebody else, we'll have to watch and see with the stock market. But just think again, going into an election year, if he's in control of the Fed, he may have a tool with quantitative easing to keep the stock market up. You may love that or you may hate it. But the fact of the matter is that may be true. And if it's true, if you're trying to short shit, as he's putting fake money into the stock market to prop it up, if you're getting pissed off, that's your fault. You got to ride the trend. The trend is your friend, right? All right, Adobe. Ah, man, this is kind of oof. But see, that's the thing, guys. So now I would say, I wouldn't put this on. But if he's going to use QE, you know, is he going to, this is what I was trying to say in the beginning, guys, right here. Go to SPY. If you go to a monthly chart of SPY, we're going to end the month in what, a day? End of this week. I mean, what is this? Like, right there is the 9 EMA. This 2-candle pattern, if he holds that, what is that pattern? That is called a piercing pattern. A bullish candle piercing into halfway or more of a bearish candle. That's a potential reversal up. If that clears that 9 EMA, that's a potential reversal up. Where's the last time we saw piercing patterns? You see one right here off the 9 EMA, and the last time that they thought they had a gotcha. Gotcha, Trump, your economy sucks, And what did he do? Gotcha, piercing pattern back over the 9 EMA back up. This may be a gotcha piercing pattern on the way back up. And what's happening now? They're already talking, guys, whether you agree with it or not, they're talking about reopening our country. There's talk of reopening the country with Trump in control of the Fed, using QE, going into an election year. And there's the shorts and the bears are pissed off right now. Put the emotions aside. Look at the logic. I just gave you facts. I don't know if he's going to prop it up. I'm just showing you the articles that I didn't write. It's right in front of you. These are patterns. If this is a piercing pattern, this thing may take off. It may. We'll have to see. You can put it in MIPCL, which gives you very less interest on your 401k money. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's interesting. More or less like going to cash, but get your point. Makes a lot of sense. That's all I'm saying, guys. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor, right? I don't know. You know what you could do, guys? If you don't know mutual funds, you can learn charts. You can learn how to trade. And you know what you can trade? You can trade SPY. You don't even need mutual funds. You can be cash at tops of markets. When the bottom comes back down, you can trade SPY. You can trade shares of SPY. You could trade careful contracts and stuff, but you don't have, like, you can ride the market up. You can trade shares of SPY. You can trade option. You know, you can trade Apple. You know what I mean? It's not that complicated once you know. You buy low, you sell high. Ride SPY up in a trend. Maybe not in a monthly, maybe you're in a daily, right? Ride SPY up. When it starts to close below the moving average lines or something, maybe you step out. When markets go at all-time highs, you get out. But again, if you were up here, there was a warning like I was showing you guys. I made several videos. I've been crying about it. Not crying about it. Hammering it in your brains for months. There was warnings all right here. Markets at all-time highs. Right? If I zoom out, I would never tell you way out here to buy a stock. Why would it? You know who tells you to buy a stock out here? When you turn on the news stations at night, and back here when they did it with Apple, right? It's buy the rumor, sell the news. You know what happens? Here's what happens. Apple's at all-time highs. It's a great company. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be the future, and it's going to be XYZ and all this great news. And guess what happens? All the new suckers come in and they buy Apple when it's at all-time highs. And then you have all this dancing around. And this is warnings. This is just like warnings at all-time highs. Oh, the dance around. Or boom, tank all the way down. Oops, didn't know Corona was coming. But I'll guarantee you there's a lot of people that knew Corona was happening back here. And they're buying. Why they suckered you in on this great news of Apple. And you were the sucker that went long up here at all-time highs. They're buying and doing stuff on the other side and profit on the way down. So meanwhile, you put your life savings or bought Apple up here and you take a bath because you're buying at tops, and now you're getting destroyed in your 401k because your financial advisor's not taking care of you at the tops of markets. Why? Because they make money when you're invested. And meanwhile, if they cared about you, they could have kept your money in safe funds at the top of markets, not trying to sucker you into stocks at all-time highs, as JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon said back in December. And what was it? The November 27th, and 2 weeks later, JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon says, buy stocks and short gold in 2020. I called his ass out several times saying, what the hell was he possibly thinking saying that when the market was at all-time highs? Guess what's happening in 2020? The stock market, when you pull up the SPY, maybe he meant, maybe he knew. So in fairness to him, maybe JP Morgan knew something was going to happen, so maybe he was doing us a favor and said, hey, back in December, you're going to want to buy, stocks in 2020 because he knew something was coming. Or maybe he was just smart, or maybe a psychic, right? So maybe he actually did us a favor, right? So maybe in fairness, he knew, hey, by the way, something's coming, we're going to want to buy stocks. So maybe he knew in December that come the end of November, March, we'd need to buy stocks again. Great call if that's the case. Or was it a trick? Or like what? Right? I mean, it's very weird because then when I'm pulling up GLD, well, that's kind of weird. Now, is he want us to short gold now? You guys seeing the game? That was my rant. If Rocky's listening, that's my rant. Rocky, you around? That's the bullshit. That's the bullshit. That's that bullshit. Who says that? That's that bullshit. That's the bullshit. Short gold. I sure the hell wouldn't be shorting gold right now on a bull flag that might be launching. And that's what I said again. I posted on Twitter because there was a Bloomberg article about a week ago that said freaking gold is going to go up to $3,000. Where was that Bloomberg article? Right over in here. Bloomberg. That was about a week or two ago. Bloomberg says gold to $3,000. That was an article. Where was it? Oh, right here. You guys want to see the bullshit? Here's the bullshit. When was this article? Oh, April 21st. That's right. Gold to reach $3,000. 50% above its record, Bank of America says. Bloomberg article. Can we all agree that Bloomberg is no fan of Donald Trump? I guess we could agree with that, right? So here we were. We have an article right here, April 21st, gold to reach $3,000. But JP Morgan, you can say, what are you talking about with JP Morgan? Well, I'll show you. I'll go to our YouTube channel and I will type in right over in here. This is where I'm going to say, guys, we're teaching you the right stuff. We're not selling you guys bullshit. JP Morgan, bullish bears. You want proof? Here's proof. This is not humble bragging. This is bragging. Bragging right here because I called his ass out right here. JP Morgan, hey friends, what says to buy stocks or short gold in 2020. Kind of weird how I put a question mark and an exclamation point, right? Because I'm kind of questioning it, right? December 19th, made that video. Here's the two articles. First one on November 27th of JP Morgan. They're worried about 2020 despite stocks at record highs. Well, duh. Yes, that was a great article. I would have been completely in agreement with that article. But guess what happened 2 weeks later on December 11th? Here we go. JP Morgan trades, say short gold and buy rafts of stocks. December 11th, 2 weeks later, right? Conflicting headlines. Hence why I had to make the video explaining all this stuff to you guys. And for those that were following along, you can see, guess what happens? You see all this. I show you all this stuff. There's lots of good tidbits I put in this video for you guys following along. And then flash forward to several months later. And now we have this Bloomberg article that says gold to reach $3,000. But JP Morgan told me 4 months ago to short gold. If I listened to JP Morgan and done that, why are they telling me to short it? Is it because they want to buy it? Because they know it's going to go to $3,000? Do they know Corona's coming? Do they know stuff? The problem is they don't tell you shit. They tell you things in headlines, nobody reads it, and people get suckered in. Right? Stock market's at all-time high. So what do you guys do? Hey, let me just risk my entire 401k at tops of markets, right? Because everything's wonderful. Not putting two and two together. We're going into an election year. You can say, well, nobody knew that was coming. Watch my videos from December and January where I was warning you guys without saying it. Shit is happening. And it's going to happen. I told you guys this shit was going to happen. I didn't know Corona was going to happen, but the charts sure the hell knew Corona was coming. Charts don't lie. It's as simple as that. They do not lie. I needed a good rant. I don't know if I'm going to put any more. Speaking of which, is there any more to put on a watch list? It's the bullshit, guys. That's the bullshit. Oh, yeah, Adobe. Do I like... Now, Adobe might have a bullish harami. It's a little bit bigger a candlestick. This may... That's the thing, guys, right? You're like, it's not great. But if you use this QE, this thing may freaking launch. Oh, man, it's right up there. Did I put an alert for Boeing? I might put Adobe. Let me just... I've gone way too long in this video, but that's all right. There'll be people that like the video. There'll be people that don't like the video. Ah, Microsoft. I heard, was it Portnoy was talking about that today? Microsoft. Ooh, that might be creeping up right there. Look at that. Cup and handle, inverse head and shoulders. And you guys, there are people that hate Trump and shorting the market and the bears, and they're all pissed off, and they're like, oh my God, this has got to fall. It's got to fall. The market's got to fall. It's got to tank. And then I look at Microsoft and I'm like, shit, look at that. That is a freaking rising wedge. This thing may be looking to break out. Possible flag, getting ready to rip. Microsoft may be looking to rip right now while our country is shut down. Makes no sense, right? Why would Microsoft rip or those things when our country shut down? Now, again, oof, look at that. You guys see that after hours? Crazy, huh? Or, guys, shit's been going on for 8. Come on. Where's 2008? Here you go. 2008. That's Microsoft. Apple. Let's look at Apple. Right? SPY. Let's pull up the SPY. Stock market since 2008. Was Donald Trump in office back in 2008? No. QE. Look it up, baby. QE is for me. I'm going to be sold on QE. I'm going to trigger people. I'm pro QE right now. I love QE. A few months ago, I said it was terrible. But now I see it. I see it, guys. I get it. Right? You know why I want QE now? Jack it back up because I want money back in your 401ks. Right? Because then I can give you a shot. Because then you know what's going to happen? What I'm going to do? I'm not going to humble brag when that happens. I'm going to brag my ass off to you guys. I'm going to make these videos. I'm going to brag like shit, like crazy to you guys. Because if he jacks it back to all-time highs, I'm going to keep making videos and tell you the shit that nobody's going to tell you with your broker so that maybe you have a chance to get your money back, whether you love Trump or hate him. At least you have a chance to get money back in your account that you may be able to protect it for the people that you're paying your hard-earned money for that don't have your best interests at heart. So maybe if you get to all-time highs and I make these videos over and over and over and over and over again trying to help you guys, yeah, you know what I'm going to do? I ain't going to be humble bragging. If that shit goes back up to all-time highs at the election, I made several videos, I'm going to pound that shit in people's faces saying, I told you, I told you, I told you, I told you. It's in your face. Telling you the shit that nobody's telling you. Pisses me off. That's free advice for many of you guys that are listening that won't even pay us a dime. This shit is golden advice. Separate your emotions. Take your emotions, whether you like or dislike a president, out of it and realize this is the game. This is the system. Quantitative easing's been going on since 2008. We had one president that used it for 8 years. We have another president that's using it during a crisis. At the end of the day, if you have a 401k, get your money back, hopefully, and then you got to reassess. I don't think it's going to, believe me, guys, I don't know if Trump gets reelected, I don't know if he'll use QE forever. Maybe he will, or maybe he'll do something to change it. But me personally, if I had my money all invested, I want it back before the election. I personally want to secure it, and then I want to see who's getting reelected, and then I want to see this break and hold. And if that breaks and holds, whenever that is, and it looks great, all right, cool. I'm ready to go risky, right? When it breaks and holds, support. That is terrifying resistance right now. Got to be careful. If price starts getting up here, right in here, double top, head and shoulders. If that fails again, as I was showing you guys in multiple videos, I'm going to say it again and over and over and over again. It's very important to pay attention to these patterns. Right here. Top and a top. That's a double top. When you zoom in, there's double tops. Here's a top and here's a top within this area here. Double top. This peak couldn't break that peak. It failed. Double top. Top, top. This peak couldn't hold this peak and didn't break that peak. So now you have a double top, a double top within a bigger overall double top. It's a ceiling, right? So flash forward till now. Now we don't know what's going to happen. If price jumps up around, all I know is this. You start getting worried. If you get your money back and price can't break these levels, then you have a possible double top. If it fails again, the money could come back down again. So you could potentially Corona drop, get the money back, and some point before, or I'm assuming, again, if it's Trump in control, he probably, you would think, logically, he's probably going to try with QE to not let it drop before an election. You would think, logically, he would, if he's going to keep using QE, keep it up until after the election. Then after that, watch what happens. I don't know if he gets reelected. All I know is I want to see that, these levels, I want this right here. I want it to break and hold and keep going up. Me personally now, hate me all you want. I want quantitative easing. Give me a ton of quantitative easing. Ton of it. Jack it up. Fake money. Prop the shit up as high as possible because I want you to get your money back. This wasn't fair to you guys. Hey, get your money back. And then at least you'll have, if you've been following us and listening, education in your hands for you to make the right choices for yourself. I can't tell you what to do. I ain't an advisor. But I'll tell you what, I'll guarantee you, your advisor, you get back up here again, they're not going to say, oh, hey, by the way, my bad a few months ago. I didn't protect your finances. We're back up here again. Maybe we should go safe again. You know what they're going to do? Leave you as it is. Hey, great. It's all-time highs again. Cool. We're great. We're good to go again. And then boom, if it falls on you again, oops, didn't see that coming again. SQ. This was my rant. I needed a rant. Square, it's right at the 200 SMA. Could. Again, these all could fly. They all could fly. They all could dump. Guys, I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm not telling you Trump is going to keep it. It could, like I said, with the market. These could all fail and then double bottom. Right? So we could fail. They all have these rising wedges. They could all fail. And come summertime, we could have like all the way back down here again. Everybody's demoralized. And then maybe he QEs it up then. Maybe he double bottoms it. Or maybe a V bottom. I don't know which way he's going to do it. I don't even know if he's going to do it. I just can't ignore what it says that he is using quantitative easing. You can't ignore that. Could it be fake outs? Sure. But I'm not going to ignore it where they're, and there they are, right? The banks are saying for you to short gold. And meanwhile, Bloomberg puts out an article saying that frickin' that gold's going to $3,000. Are you serious? This might be interesting. Caterpillar might be creeping up. Let's see if it fills that gap around 123.28. Let's look at the hourly. Yeah, it's creeping. I normally wouldn't put this on, but it may be creeping up, and you can see the moving average lines crossing over 123.16. Watch if price can fill gap around 123.16. YouTube peeps, I'm actually going to shut the stream off. This is a long stream, but I'm going to stop this and I'll finish up on social media for you guys. Enjoy.